Right, welcome to Arthur Brown Photography yet again. Today I'm going to be talking about something which is really perhaps a little bit off subject for photography, but it's to do with production equipment. I've got a studio set up here with a new M2 Max Studio for doing music and film production work, and I had a 16 channel hybrid mixer on that, which was a 16 channel analog, but also it was a PreSonus AR16 studio, and it also did 16 channel digital, so I had 16 separate tracks of USB going into Logic Studio. There's very few analog mixers on the market that will do that nowadays. I bought the PreSonus in 2018, I think it was. Been very reliable ever since, but then a couple of weeks ago it started to make funny noises when I turned it on. It was crackling, making a lot of static noises, which seemed to go away once it warmed up a bit. So it was a matter of not turning the speakers on straight away. However, I switched it on a couple of days ago and it started to make a burning smell. So I switched it off and put it outside pretty quick. When I moved it, I noticed there was what appeared to be a scorch mark on the desk underneath, but actually when I came to clean it off, I think it was actually coffee. So I suspect, rather than this being a failure with the PreSonus unit itself, it's actually got coffee dropped into it. I'm not sure how that happened, because I don't think I ordered it. From the mark below the mixer, it would have gone into the power supply unit, which may have caused a failure. But from the mark below it, it was only a couple of drops of coffee, not a stream. But anyway, the unit seems to have failed, so I started to look around for replacement and thought, well, do I really need the full 16 tracks anymore? I don't have as many instruments as I used to in terms of live recording, and perhaps I ought to be looking for something digital. So in the end I decided that I was going to buy one of these audio interface units, and I'm still trying to find one with multi-track recording, and I came across what I'd not seen before, which is a newish model to the market. After doing a bit of research on the internet, I came across this company called Audient, who make audio digital interfaces, and they've got a unit called the EVO16, which is, I think, 24 inputs. Well, 24 inputs if you use a ADAT expansion card. But anyway, the actual unit itself has got eight ins, which isn't really enough for the number of instruments I now have. So, and this is like £200 GBP, cheaper than replacing the PreSonus that had failed. So I thought I'd give it a try, and perhaps now we'll do a bit of unboxing. It arrived this morning. Right. Very well packed, I must admit. Quite heavy. Right, it's got an external cardboard box. an internal cardboard box. Right, let's just move the camera so that we can get a slightly better view of this. Right, I'm not quite sure what happened then, but the camera seemed to switch itself off. I'm actually filming this on my old Sony CX405 Handycam, one I've had for many years, so it may be coming towards the end of its useful life, which might mean it needs replacement with the 4K model. Anyway, that's for a different day. Let's take a look at this now. So start off with the back. Right, running along the back, we've got mains input. We've got 2 ins and 2 outs for ADAT. Anyone who's not familiar with that, it's quite an old studio protocol for joining units together using optical Toslink cables, but you can transmit multi-channel audio back and forth across it at very high speed. So a clock output for syncing it up. Then we have 8 line outputs, which obviously you know, if you're going to put output to a live mixer, you can put 8 different separate discrete audio outs. Right, and then there's 6 of the 8 audio inputs there. They're mic or line inputs, and they all have the choice of 48 volt phantom power as well for microphones. Right, if you look at the front of the unit, we've got 2 mic, line or instrument inputs. Again, they can be XLR or jack plug, and you can, as well as mic line, you've got the ability to configure these for guitar input. And we've got the channel selectors, 48 volts. Selector, you've got the instrument selector for channels 1 and 2, and the green button there is a auto gain function, which is probably fairly unique to this EVO, and I won't bother to go into it now because it's quite complex, but I suspect I'll be using that during setting it up. There's a small LCD screen, data input button. There's some various functions there now. There's the speaker button. You press that to set your speaker levels. There's 2 different headphone outputs, and again you can set the levels differently on those. And then there's a miscellaneous function button what you can set with the software. Now this is all run by an app which you download from the EVO site. It'll run on Windows or Mac. I'm just hoping it runs on the latest Mac OS, because I'm having trouble with some of Native Instrument stuff which isn't compatible with the latest M2 Mac processors. But anyway, that's again another story for another day, and not really photography oriented. Right, I've unboxed this, we've had a look around it, and now I'm going to install it into my sound system and see whether it works. Right, we had a bit of a hiccup there. The battery ran out on my camera. I was sure I'd charged it, but anyway, perhaps. So this is a few days later, and there's no prizes for noticing that I've had a haircut since I did the first section of this this video. We've been through the unboxing and initial look at the Audient EVO16. I've now got it connected up into my sound system, and I'm going to just show you now how it fits in to my studio setup. Right, it's a fairly small compact unit. It's probably slightly less than 1 rack unit wide and 1 rack unit tall. Fits nicely under the shelf that holds my monitor. Right, this has 8 inputs. So the way I've configured it, I've got inputs 1 and 2 here. Input 1 is a mic line instrument input, and I've got that configured as an instrument input for the acoustic guitar, or if I'm playing the electric guitar direct and using a software amplifier app. Input 2 there, mic line instrument, I've got set up for a microphone, and it's live with 48 volt phantom power for to power the microphone. Right, the other 6 inputs are on the rear of the unit. So I have inputs 7 and 8, and they're connected to my modal Cobalt 8 keyboard. Now there's obviously a right and left feed going to 7 and 8 here. Then I also have on the desk here a Korg 05 RW synthesizer box, and that's got a right and left feed which is going to channels 5 and 6, right and left there. Right, so into channel 3 I'm running I come round here, I have a Laney Cub 15 amplifier with a 1x12 Laney speaker underneath it, and there is a line out on the amplifier, and that is going into input 3 here, and then input 4, let's move this camera, input 4 is going from my Mark Bass Little Marcus 500 amplifier, and that's going into input 4. Now although I have the little Marcus amp on the desk here, I do actually have a 2x10 Mark Bass speaker underneath as well. But there is a direct line out which is running into the unit here. So that is connected up to my Mac Studio, and the return from the computer is on channels 1 and 2. Right, you can see here the channel selections. Just try and do this without obscuring the screen. The little screen here shows the levels, and you can set that each channel. And this is the level of the return at the moment from the computer, but you can set any of the input levels using that dial. So, I mean, the most noticeable thing about the unit initially was the sound quality. I run my audio into a pair of Yamaha studio monitors, and there was a significant difference in the audio quality between the old PreSonus mixer and this Audient EVO16 unit. The Audient unit, the sound is so much clearer, crisper, hi-fi, particularly with the synthesizers. It brings a whole new facet to the synthesizer sound. Actually, gives a much more crisper, detailed 3D kind of sound. So I'm very impressed with that. So, and that sound quality improvement is also noticeable on playback as well. If I'm listening to YouTube videos or anything through the computer and playing it back through the Audient and the speakers, there's a significant increase in sound quality. I'm very impressed with that. So, perhaps I'll say at this moment I don't have any connection with Audient, and I paid full price for this unit. Actually bought it from Anderton's in Guildford. So. But as I say, this is probably not really a photography related subject, but I do use this as part of my equipment for filmmaking. Sound is a very important part of filmmaking, almost as much as the visuals. So having a decent audio interface is an important part of the studio setup. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this introduction to the Audient EVO16, the unboxing, and me showing you how it fits into the studio setup. Look out for my next video, and bye now from Arthur Bound Photography.